Hello and welcome to the channel. Join me as I dive deep into the fascinating story of Pablo Escobar's rise to power in 1980s, Medellín, Colombia, and uncover the key moments that defined his infamous empire. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria is widely regarded as one of the most powerful and notorious drug lords in modern history. Born in Rionegro, Colombia, in 1949, and raised in the nearby city of Medellin, Escobar's journey from petty crime to global cocaine kingpin is one of the most gripping stories of the 20th century. Escobar's early criminal activities started with low-level crimes like stealing tombstones and small-scale smuggling. However, he quickly set his sights on something much bigger: the cocaine trade. By the mid-1970s, as the demand for cocaine surged in the United States, Escobar saw a lucrative opportunity and took control of the entire supply chain, from production to distribution. One of the most defining moves in Escobar's rise to power was his creation of the Medellín Cartel in the late 1970s. Unlike many other criminal organizations that operated in silos, Escobar centralized power. He controlled production in Colombia, the smuggling routes through Central America, and the distribution networks in the United States. He forged powerful alliances with drug traffickers like Carlos Later and Jose Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha, enabling him to increase production and strengthen the cartel's control of the global cocaine trade. By the early 1980s, the Medellin cartel was smuggling an estimated 70 to 80 tons of cocaine into the United States each month. Escobar's ability to maintain power wasn't just about wealth, it was also about fear and influence. He famously employed a plata o plomo strategy, which translates to silver or lead, meaning you could accept a bribe or face a bullet. This approach extended to politicians, police, and even judges, and even those who resisted faced intimidation or assassination. He also took on a Robin Hood-like persona in Medellin, using his wealth to build soccer fields, schools, and housing for the poor. This strategy helped him gain support from the local population, many of whom saw him as a benefactor rather than a criminal. As his power grew, Escobar became a direct threat to the Colombian government. In 1982, he even briefly entered politics, becoming an alternate member of Colombia's Congress. But when his drug ties were exposed, he was forced to resign, and his political ambitions crumbled. His response to this humiliation was brutal. Escobar declared war on the Colombian state. He ordered the assassinations of politicians, judges, and journalists who spoke out against him. He also targeted the public. One of the most infamous acts was the 1989 bombing of Avianca Flight 203, which killed over 100 people. The attack was intended to kill a presidential candidate who wasn't even on the flight. By the early 1990s, the Colombian government, with assistance from the US DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, launched a full-scale effort to dismantle the Medellin cartel. The U.S. had an interest in bringing Escobar to justice, as his operations were flooding American streets with cocaine. Escobar's reign began to unravel in 1991 when he agreed to a controversial deal with the Colombian government. He would surrender in exchange for leniency. But there was a twist. He would serve his sentence in his own luxury prison known as La Catedral. However, after it was discovered that he was still running his operations from within the prison, the government attempted to transfer him, and he escaped. After months on the run, Colombian forces, with the support of U.S. operatives, tracked him down in December 1993. In a dramatic final confrontation, Escobar was shot and killed on a rooftop in Medellin. Pablo Escobar's impact on Colombia and the world was monumental. While he is remembered as a ruthless criminal, his legacy is a complex mix of fear, admiration, and myth. His story has been dramatized in TV series like Narcos and documentaries exploring his life and impact on global drug policy. His death marked the end of the Medellin cartel's dominance, but the larger problem of drug trafficking did not disappear. Today, Colombia remains a key player in the global cocaine trade, but it is now managed by different groups, such as the Cali cartel and other factions. Thank you for watching this deep dive into Pablo Escobar's rise to power. What are your thoughts on his legacy? Was he just a ruthless criminal, or do you see him as more than that? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're interested in learning more about the world's most infamous figures, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out our next video on the untold stories of history's most fascinating characters.